Thundar, the Barbarian. The year 1994. From out of space comes a runaway planet, hurtling between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. Man's civilization is cast in ruin. 2,000 years later, Earth is reborn. A strange new world rises from the old. A world of savagery, super science, and sorcery. But one man bursts his bonds to fight for justice. With his companions, Ookla the Mock and Princess Ariel, he pits his strength, his courage, and his fabulous sun's sword against the forces of evil. He is Thundar, the Barbarian.
Post-apocalypses, this episode of Destructomundo.
It's on, it's on. There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. Hell, they think we're imagining all this?
Destructomundo. Witnesses to the effect that people who acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims. Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases the killers are eating flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this, latest Cumberland just recent months ago in Cumberland, Maryland. Civil defense authorities have told you that murdered victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
Apocalypses?
Pockeyclips?
Apocalypse?
No, don't go there. Apocalypse?
You kind of have to talk about that.
Walker.
That's the unfortunate part of having
Captain Walker
Captain Walker.
and the Apocalypse.
We're not going to...
Yes.
We won't address the second half of that movie because it doesn't exist.
The second half?
Yeah.
I don't like to
The
acknowledge
one where
any of that movie.
he puts the Master Blaster puts a suit on and drives the train. What's the deal with that? Like he's like monosyllabic through that the whole rest of the movie, and then riding on the back of the blaster basically.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden puts on a suit and he's Master's head.
He's got all that stuff and the caboose of that train.
I just
See, I don't remember any of this. I successfully blanked most of it out. I remember Iron Bar and Pig Killer and The Return of the Gyro Captain.
Right.
And beyond that, and Captain Walker and the Apocalypse.
That plane in there is like, I saw this website, it was like the world's ugliest plane, and that plane was number one. And I was really surprised to find out that was an actual production plane.
Huh. Yeah.
I saw this thing the other day, and it was talking
funny?
about plane graveyards, and whenever they want to use a plane, they get it from this place.
Really?
Well, I guess they don't in Australia because
it was marketed.
We need to put this busted plane on a boat.
It was marketed to, I don't know the name, but it was marketed to people like ranchers out back, and they basically keep it on the back of a truck, like all folded up, and then when they pull it as a trailer, and then they just like open it up and fly off, to go find their flock.
Your
or their
micro.
herd or
Well, ugly planes aside, it didn't make the movie any better.
But it fit 3 people or so.
But the deal is, he got Max growing his hair long, going to seed.
And it was nicely feathered.
Right.
And it had gray stripes on each side.
It's the beginning of his crazy period, I think.
It's terrible.
And then, he shows up, he's got the gray streaks in his hair, but that's kind of from Road Warrior too. But still, the gray streaks in the long, flowing...
mullet.
Yeah, hardcore mullet. It's like
it's
Bon Jovi length of hair, but mulletized. It was hardcore. But then the kids cut his hair off to make him look like Captain Walker. So thank God for those kids. Thank God for kids.
It's terrible stuff.
It's nowhere near as good as Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Hell Comes to Frogtown. What a great...
Or Return to Frogtown.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Roddy Piper and his chastity belt.
Right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's good stuff.
God.
That's really, really good stuff. Indeed.
It sucks. The apocalypse sucks. There's always frog women and giant insects.
Giant
and
insects
cod
are
pieces.
kick ass.
And cod pieces.
You got to wear a cod
cod
piece.
pieces
'cause-
are
if
bad.
I don't get
Chastity
to wear,
belts are
if I,
bad.
if I'm gonna survive the horror of whatever causes like an apocalypse, and I'm gonna live after it into the post-apocalypse, I am fucking wearing a cod piece.
Well, I mean, more often than not, you'll probably need to shield your stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, I'm gonna get a study cod piece like right away. I'm gonna
'Cause,
hike my ass
you know,
down to the mall, and I'm gonna
if there's
go
any
If you
right
were
into.
prepared, you'd have one beforehand.
Well, I'm gonna go right into Hot Topic, and I'm gonna take one.
Custom fitted, lead lined, shielded cod piece.
Shielded.
Well, I mean, it needs to be.
Ray shielded, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to have the lead. You got to have the lead. It's got to have the lead lining, and then it's got to have like
to
the.
keep your junk like from getting radiated.
Yes, you got to have the lead lining, and then you got to have some sort of like the electromagnetic conductive mesh to
the next
to
time I
drain.
go to the
Like you got to have like
I am going to go.
It's like a
in there
Faraday
and I'm gonna
cage
ask
for
them
your
if it has
balls.
All that. I'm gonna go Faraday cage for your balls.
or like the electromagnetic buildup. I want to get my stuff fried. So it's got to have that love, and then the outside's got to be like Kevlar.
I think I'd be careful about that, man. You go like walking across a carpet and then like come near something and like the static electricity alone build up in that thing, and
That's what I mean.
that could hurt real bad.
It
Or
discharges.
you just get some like a rubber gasket or something.
A
Ground it.
rubber gas.
Now we're getting into like fetish wear.
Yeah,
Right
I
on.
don't know, man. Exactly where are we
Right
going
on.
with this?
So
Trying to
what?
protect your nads from the electric shock.
Because trust me, the
Okay,
life
but yeah,
in the post-apocalyptic world is going to be hard on your stuff.
Sure.
Your bits are going to get
Chafed.
chafed,
Yeah.
if
Like
not
sand and dirt.
actively irradiated on a daily basis.
Right.
Gold bond will be as precious as gold.
Yeah.
It's like getting a boy and his dog.
Yes.
Got to have your shit together so you can go around and rape people.
And your talking dog.
That sniffs out girls for you to rape. It's just the
Well,
best
yeah,
sci-fi
that's-
ever.
That's
What's the deal with that, man? And Don Johnson.
well. It's
I'll leave him out of it. The book's great.
yeah. It's social commentary. Right?
And largely kept to the spirit of the book, even in the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
they
it's
didn't go
dark.
making him like looking for women. They made him looking for women.
Yeah. It's
Never read the book.
Uh,
I saw the
it's-
movie though.
the novella is awesome, and there's the prequel Eggsucker too, which is the sort of beginning of When Albert Meets Blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's a very dark sort of day-to-day, barely scraping by and trading to get a can of peaches or something.
Sure. I mean, that's a lot like what.
And there's radiation, and there's radioactive mutants, and
Fleshy-headed mutants.
yeah, that glow.
Mhm.
Well, there's always fleshy-headed mutants.
They're so radioactive they glow.
Right. You can tell.
That's
them.
good.
But yeah, they're like there's a few groups of people that there's the one group that they basically survive by keeping like a movie projector going, and they show movies, and then people come and give them food or ammunition or whatever for an opportunity to sit and watch some movies, and that's how there's the different sort of gangs or tribes that get by carving out some sort of an existence, and then Albert is or Vic, whichever name he's a solo is what they call him, which is like the drifter nomads that scrounge for everything, and him and his telepathic dog.
Character classes out of Cyberpunk. Or something.
Yes, solos. And,
Twilight 2000.
and
We were talking about Twilight 2000 the other day. What a great game.
yes, but yeah, that's that sort of the day-to-day existence within that story or the movie. Like I said, there's a lot of social commentary in there, but there's sort of just the difficulty of the day-to-day existence in that is where it's just sort of wandering, nomadic, scavenging, scrounging through the rubble.
Right. Everything's broken.
And 90% of the people you encounter are going to want to kill you and take everything you have. And then, like I said, there are
Largely like high school.
but then there's glow-in-the-dark radioactive mutants, which are the worst thing.
Well, they just didn't glow in the dark in high school.
Yeah.
But that's post-nuclear war.
Right. I mean, it would have to be something.
That's after actual like World War III super duper full on nuclear war. That's
I mean,
that.
we're talking about like any number of scenarios can cause a post-apocalypse. It just has to be enough of a cataclysm to cause mass like destruction.
Yeah,
on
it's
such
got to
a
bring
wide
down
scale.
society. Yeah,
of the infrastructure.
Right. Everything.
Yeah.
Just basically has to be destroyed.
But I think, and once that's gone, I mean, I think pretty much regardless of the details, you're like on a day-to-day thing. I mean, you can't really plan ahead too much. I mean, the details might differ, whether it's highly radioactive outside or not. Those details, but I think it'll still be, difficult.
Radiation.
Difficult to, and for like a long-term plans, I think pretty much every day is
you
going
have to wait it out. I think with the whole, what was that shitty movie? Damnation Alley. They were actually.
We watched that.
Yeah, we watched it the other night.
They were underground for a long time before
they
they
were in
popped
that
out.
silo, yeah.
So they waited till all the really bad
Alley.
radiation was gone.
We watched that actually just. It's now Friday night. We watched it Monday afternoon.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it since
and
1980.
Yes,
I had
that's exactly where I was. I had not seen it since the mid-'80s.
There's like giant scorpions or something in it.
I personally was stupefied at how unbelievably fucking awful. Not only is it just unbelievably bad, it made very little sense.
Wasn't the Airwolf guy in that movie?
Yeah.
Yes, Jan Michael Vincent and George Papard.
Yep, Jan let his hair
And they're
grow
like
out.
that weird truck they drove around in.
We sat there
that was
watching-
the star of the show.
Three-wheel thing.
Really though, I thought the star
made
of the show was the vehicle until we
the
saw George
land.
Papard's
What is it? The
mustache.
land.
His mustache.
What's it
was
called? The
commanding.
land.
It was Damnation Alley. That's what they called the vehicle.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's what he called it.
No, they
He was
didn't, dude. No, that's where that was like where they were headed through this path, this stretch of the country, like between where everything was really fucked up. There was like this one way that they had to go to get to Albany.
Oh.
That was like the safest route, and he called it Damnation Alley. The thing's called like the Land
Shark?
Not Land Shark, but it's something like that. But no, it was not called Damnation Alley. But truly, the star of the film was actually the co-stars were his mustache and his fake accent.
Yeah. Tana. What did he say?
This entire town is infested with killer cockroaches. And he's got this accent that's a cross between like the Southern Gentleman and Katharine Hepburn.
Right.
And that mustache and the state trooper sunglasses. And he's like, this entire town.
You're gonna have to put that like quote in the show. You're gonna have to get it like recorded.
Tana, this entire town
because he gets on the radio
with killer cockroaches.
And the one guy's getting eaten
and he
in
knows
the car.
At this point because
it's like modern day Manhattan.
The one guy's getting eaten in the car, and he's too slow to get him. And they call him on the radio. He's like, this entire town is infested with killer cockroaches. He's like, we are pulling out. Now we are pulling out.
Yeah, that's the only part of the movie that I've seen.
Yeah,
it's so it makes no sense because like apparently there was such a really really horrible nuclear war that all of the nuclear bombs going off blew the Earth off of its axis.
Right.
Which caused earthquakes and floods, and the sky turned green.
Well, in all kinds of different colors.
Didn't the moon crash into the Earth or something?
But then
the sky turned into a giant green screen where they showed bad special effects all day long.
But then they hope that somehow, maybe, possibly, just because the Earth might just right itself. Just because sometimes it happens.
Yeah, because it's hard to keep
so
up
then
these bad special effects.
Mother Nature takes care of herself.
About an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, spontaneously the Earth rights itself, and everything that was previously atomic desolation is all like leaves and grass and trees, and there's deer running around and flowers. And everybody's okay. And that happens in the course of about 45 seconds.
Yeah. And then they show up in this suburban neighborhood with people rushing out to the street.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it made absolutely no sense.
They're like wearing
totally
polo
realistic.
shirts tucked into
But
their
before
pants,
that, there's some decent stuff. They're driving the big armored, basically like an APC.
Well, there was two at the beginning, and then the one.
But they're driving through the atomic wasteland. They're come across a settlement. They go in. They're ridiculously casual about the whole thing. They just sort of walk around like, oh look, they're not.
Well, the one guy at the beginning, the driver of the first vehicle,
they're not thinking about
he
there
wanted
could be
to park
people
during
here.
a storm, and Jack Michael Vincent's driving the other one. He's he's like, I'm going to drive through the storm. Screw that. And then the one that parked during the storm got knocked over, and it went out of commission, and the one guy got killed, and they went and rescued the other guy. So it just proved that you got to take risks to survive.
But they go to like the outskirts of Vegas, and then they go into that little like sort of road stop.
Well, you said they were going to Albany.
Yeah,
where?
Yeah,
New York?
I don't know where they were.
They're in
the
California.
desert.
They're in the Mojave. They're like
And they're going all the way
they're
across
at a
the
nuclear
country?
missile base somewhere in the Mojave in California.
And they're going to New York.
And they get this radio signal that they pick up from Albany, going, this is radio whatever, blah blah blah, Albany, New York.
Yeah.
And so they know there's people in Albany. They're going to drive across country.
Well, they know that there's like a broadcast, because all during the beginning of the movie, it's like this thing that keeps replaying over and over again. It's never anybody talking.
But
It's just a tape.
unbelievably stupid.
Right.
And then at the end, it's all, this is Radio Albany, and we're playing the top hits and crap, and like we're going to sign off for a few minutes to let people call in that might be out there.
It was completely.
That's the first time you'd heard that there were actually people.
Well, obviously, Albany, New York is not a target.
Well,
This is not a Soviet target. I would imagine Buffalo
Well,
would probably not.
I don't remember the movie
Probably most
that well.
upstate New York is not going to be.
Now there's
And I
silos
remember-
in upstate New York.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's huge
usually
bases
silos
like near
anywhere
Syracuse.
where there's open amounts of land. Like
But suffice to say, the movie's awful.
Right.
It was just stupid.
It is bad.
But it is kind of.
I was expecting it to be, cheesy.
See, if
bad,
it
but
wasn't
it's
for the 80s, we
it's
wouldn't have had any of that
watchable,
stuff.
but you're like laughing through the whole thing. I
Well,
mean, mostly.
did you see? I mean, it's all that crap that came out in the 80s was like
Sure.
that, though. But it was cool back then.
Oh yeah, I loved that.
DEFCON
4.
DEFCON 4, DEFCON 1, DEFCON 4, DEFCON 1.
Which one
It was
is it?
DEFCON 4.
That was the
name
one
of
that was-
movie.
Which
Yes.
color is the bad terrorist color now? Is it red? Red's always.
I think it's like magenta.
Vermilion.
Is it blue? Blue?
Cobalt.
Cobalt?
I don't know.
Are we-
Cobalt's good.
what level are we at right now?
Whatever
Maize.
level
Orange?
the leaders want us to think we're at.
Tangerine.
Tangerine?
Alert level tangerine. Ready, alert level.
Because I don't know.
But no, I mean,
And if it
I
gets better, we go to mango.
what was
Mango!
Hey, was
Gotta
Thundar
go
though?
mango.
I mean, with Thundar, I haven't seen it since.
Thundar?
But wasn't that like something weird,
Nine-
like
It was an asteroid.
It was
was
a
like
planet.
the
It was
moon
a runaway planet.
The year is 1994. From out of space comes a runaway planet,
Oh.
hurtling between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction.
Yes. Oh, I love Thundar.
We had this on DVD,
1,000
but I haven't
years
watched it
later,
since.
Earth is reborn. A new world, a world of sorcery and super
Lightsabers,
science.
Ooklas.
Thunder the
Or Mox.
Barbarian with his companions,
I
Ookla the
love-
Mock and Princess Ariel. We watched the first 10 episodes last Thursday night, just geeking
Man.
out.
Very cool.
And he was there.
Thundar with 2 R's.
Yes.
Got to thank Bill Kennedy. Bill Kennedy from Doomerama.
Yeah, he hooked us up.
sent us the complete set of Thundar Barbarian DVDs.
Because
Thanks, man.
Thundar is like the super duper post-apocalypse, because it's 2,000 years after that planet
Right.
wrecks our
That's
world.
why everybody's wearing furs. And
So it's
Except
like
for
totally,
Ariel, dude, she was wearing nothing.
But we were watching it, and the amazing
somehow the helicopter mechanic made it.
yeah,
2,000
the,
years.
The thing I love how like he just decides he's gonna start like driving everything. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can fly
But the,
a helicopter, and he's doing it, and then Ookla's trying, and he's like,
but
kicks the
it's
thing.
amazing because we were watching it, and it's like it's one of those shows where they've set up this premise to where you can put anything in there in any episode,
Yeah.
and it's totally okay.
Oh, the best ever.
Because we're watching it, and you're like, you've got the weird, like you've got the machine sort of super science, the weird laser guns and the flying craft,
That apparently we were supposed to have in 1994.
Well, then a lot of it's powered by the magic of the wizards, and then you've got all the wizards, you've got the mutant stuff, and you can put anything in there. Because we're watching the one. This is when it hit me. We were watching an episode that actually had a sequence involving werewolves fighting robots inside an active volcano.
It was cool. It was the best ever. I mean, you couldn't have
And you're like-
that much action going
There's
on.
a wizard's fortress that's basically a castle on a platform on legs above the lava pit inside an active volcano.
Right.
He's being assaulted by a pack of werewolves, and he unleashes his army of robots to fight them. And we're sitting here watching it, and the show's awesome anyway, but I'm like, dude, there's werewolves fighting robots inside a volcano.
It's like the perfect cartoon.
That's the perfect everything.
Does it get any better than that? But it totally makes sense within the context of the show.
Because if that's what the post-apocalypse is like, I totally want to.
Because, I mean, yeah, that's a really extreme version. You know? To where, like, it's not just, oh, I remember before the bomb and, all that stuff. It's friggin' 2,000 years,
right, right.
And all our shit is just rubble.
Ookla, like, has his own Ookla horse. Like, it's some kind of beast.
Some kind of lizard, wasn't it?
I don't know what Ookla
It's got kind of
was.
a beak, yeah, but it's
But it looked kind of like Ookla, Which is weird because horses don't look like people.
Yeah, that's a whole.
Well, some people look like horses, though.
Yeah, they get long faces,
big teeth. Julie Roberts.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, most of your portrayals of the post-apocalyptic thing are 10, 20 years maybe.
Yeah, because you got to wait it out.
Like all the stuff,
wait out the major part
all
of the fallout.
All those movies, those movies from like he was talking about, from like what's the one? Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin.
Oh yeah,
that's one of those great.
Well, yeah,
but remember Hunter in the Future?
Yeah,
yours like hundreds, if not like 1,000 years in the future.
Yep.
See, but it's got friggin' dinosaurs.
Sometimes I get some of the scenarios in the movies mixed up with just really bad sci-fi stuff that takes place, like Star Hunter and all that stuff. It's like post-apocalyptic, sort of, but it's on a different planet. So
right.
Space Hunter.
It's all that Space Hunter. Yeah, Star Hunter was a cartoon or something.
Well, wasn't Ator in the future?
Ator the Fighting Eagle?
Ator Fighting Eagles in the future.
With Miles O'Keefe?
Yeah, he had the wicker armor. Which is like, they must have raided like a Pier 1 and built themselves like an army.
A few of
there'd be a lot of that going on, Hey, check out this big Papazon chair. I could totally make a shield out of this.
What armor class is Rattan?
I don't know. You'll have to ask the SCA guys.
It depends on if it's painted or not.
Right.
How much duct tape it's got on it.
Foam.
Magical rattan.
Oh, yes.
They
don't like it when you call it wicker at all. No, they don't like that at all.
It's not as good as PVC, of course.
PVC shatters. That's the problem with PVC.
Or all the guys who steal like the street signs and make their shield out of an old stop sign.
Dude, if I were big enough, I would totally have a stop sign as a battle axe if I were living in the future. Because that's what I had in Gamma.
I think they did. Yeah.
I had a guy that had a stop sign as
the stop sign was the shield,
axe.
and then they had like a.
Oh no! I had a stop sign as a battle axe.
You would have like the no passing zone.
That wouldn't be. I mean, if we're going to get practical, there's lots of street signs, and you could really, I think,
you could choose.
Like a yield sign would make a really cool
Where do you see yield signs all over the place? You can make it turn it upside down.
What do you mean? Where do you see yield signs?
No, you need that diamond-shaped sign with the crazy crooked turns,
right.
The road ahead's like, whoa,
we have
the
a
super
knot,
you can strap that to a stick.
So you hold that up,
baseball bat,
or just like a
really wail on
like a street name sign.
Those are hard to get down.
You can make really good forearm shields with those.
They're not really part of. They can't get them.
Making shields out of street signs.
But you can pull a stop sign out of the ground, and then all of a sudden you got a big old axe.
Or you could just get a ratchet and just take it off the post.
Well, I would have a full carapace
and tentacles.
And tentacles. You could do that. Man, Gamer World is awesome. Yeah, you could just sit there and choose your mutations.
The bunny people awesome. And the badger people.
Right, I love the bunny people. Man.
They were the evil ones. The badgers were good, weren't they?
The picture in the book was crazy, though. It had them all carrying Uzis and stuff.
Well, the one had a Tommy gun. Awesome. I remember. There's the rabbit with the Tommy gun.
They're all walking around. Yeah.
Dorkfest.
And then they'd have the dude with the old helmet on. He'd have the helmet with the visor pulled down and shit like that.
But yeah, I mean that was again a classic sort of. Far after the nuclear apocalypse,
where animals had already mutated.
Yeah, geeks ruled Earth.
There was wild levels of atomic mutation.
Hey, which is the one where the Earth was called Earth? It was URTH.
That's Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Sun.
Yeah,
Shadow of the Torture.
It's like Earth.
Earth to you. Those are good books.
I haven't.
The first 4 are good.
I read them a long time.
He dragged it out.
I could never read books by Gene because his name is Gene. Same reason I couldn't read books by Greg Bear because his name is Greg and his last name was Bear.
Greg the Bear.
The Shadow of the Torturer.
Greg Bear's a sci-fi writer, right? Greg
Yes.
Bear? Yeah. I just never could read. He could be brilliant.
Like Gene the Wolf. The first few they're interesting because they ostensibly at first they seem almost like fantasy, and then he slowly starts to introduce elements where you're like, wait,
because he doesn't immediately tell you.
Yeah, but you get but you get the impression that it's like
you sort of discover on the same level that they discovered.
1,000-odd years in the future.
So many of these, like they make you part of the inside. Or they
got
give
the inside track.
Yeah, because it's like they're looking at something and he describes it. They say he picks up a stop sign and then he's saying, "Oh, what is this? What could this have been?" No, in those books they didn't tell you what they were picking up. Like they just gave you kind of a description through their eyes, so you were guessing along with it, but you were like, "Yeah, well, that sounds like maybe like this," but they didn't give you that.
It's introduced and it's initially it's a four-act full-size books, that tell the story, and it's introduced slowly and gradually that you start to figure out, that it is far into the and what's the Empire of the East, Fred Saberhagen?
Mm-hmm.
That's like that because it starts out almost like a fantasy with like wizards and magic and shit, and then they introduce things and you realize like the big thing they're fighting over, trying to get is the Oliphant, which is in a nuclear-powered tank. There's like a...
Oh, really?
It's in like a bunker buried they call it the Oliphant, and you don't know what it is, but it's this...
That's a good name for a nuclear-powered tank.
Yeah.
That's what the South African Centurion tank was called, the Oliphant.
But there's a wizard, and there's some good people, and there's these kind of almost like sort of godlike beings. But you sort of get... I sort of got the impression that they're just sort of like really like sort of weird ultra powerful mutants or something, but it's a very weird, but it seems more like fantasy, and then they start to introduce elements where you realize that it's after the collapse of this civilization and that these weird things are remnants of our technology, but they're hunting the Oliphant because they're in the middle of this war.
Yeah.
And then when they find the Oliphant, it's this like giant nuclear-powered super tank that's buried like in a cave somewhere out in the desert and stuff.
Like Ogre.
That's cool.
That's a pretty cool book. I remember reading that like as a teenager, and it was that kind of stuff that was not ostensibly post-apocalyptic sci-fi, but I guess effectively it was.
I reread the first part of Canticle for Leibowitz recently.
I haven't read that book in forever.
Yeah, I hadn't read it since... Well, I was supposed to read it in high school. I just listened to the lectures. And
wasn't that like a whole thing about a guy searching down the contents of somebody's shopping list or something? Like a grocery list?
It was like the grocery lists were a factor. They were like monks. They'd gone back to the Dark Ages, pretty much. And they kind of didn't talk about, like there'd been a nuclear war. But he was like illuminating something, what ended up basically being like a blueprint for some sort of electrical thing. And he was, making like an illuminated manuscript, and that's what this abbey did, and that's the first part. And when they're in the Dark Ages, the Fiat Lux, and then there's the two other Fiats. One of them's in the High Middle Ages or Renaissance period, and the other one's like in the modern period. And that was pretty interesting. The only part I reread, like I said, was the very first part when they're in the Dark Ages and they're out in the desert and everything scares everybody, and and then they find like an old like utility shed, and it's like the greatest find ever for these monks. It's pretty interesting.
It's a good book. I remember that.
You would have to consider that, like the inane, like normal things that we have that may have survived into the future, that we discard as trash, or keep maybe as like sentimental things, but they don't mean anything to us. When we finally buckle down to throw things away, we toss them. That will become artifacts, to a civilization beyond ours, and like they'll. Yeah,
when they've lost the sort of, the cultural context that they have for us,
sure.
And they're sort of rediscovered by a future generation that's grown up in a different world because our society has been annihilated, or at least
Right.
And these the remnants of our civilization and stuff will be interpreted in an entirely different way.
Or they'll be feared as magic, or
Yeah,
like
they'll-
in Planet of the Apes, where they're basically forbidden to go near, which is another like great series. Even though I watched the TV show when it was on Sci-Fi all week long. I love it. I can't help it. It was like showing it from
That show's awful.
but it was great to
Wasn't there a
watch. It was just
cartoon?
great. Yeah, there's cartoons. and
Everything other than the first movie sucks.
but when they go and like
The second one is okay, but
which is the one with the missile?
that's
That's
the
the
second
third.
one.
Yeah,
Beneath.
Okay.
yeah.
The
beneath
one where
Planet, yeah.
Taylor blows it up at the end
Right.
and effectively destroyed the planet, but somehow they managed to make 3 more movies and a TV show.
Right. Because Roddy loved that.
Yeah, I don't think Roddy ever turned down the opportunity to put on the monkey suit.
No.
They give him a ham sandwich, he'd dress up as Cornelius. But yeah, the first that movie's unbelievably fucking brilliant.
Right.
And thank you, Mr. Rod Serling.
Did you write the screenplay?
Why did
they
on a
change
book
it?
by the guy who wrote the Bridge
Pierre.
on the River Kwai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the French guy.
Yeah.
Pierre
Why did
Boulle.
they change it to? Because in the book it's a different planet.
Yes.
Right.
It actually is a different planet.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I wonder
they
why
had a
they
lot of
changed it,
surrendering
though.
in it, and everything. I never read
Make
the
it
Well,
book.
the book
No,
is
I've
like
seen
the
movie.
book is,
It's a
A
really
ton.
short book, isn't it?
and the book's kind of like, just I thought rather not particularly interesting social commentary. I mean, the book was okay. It's not very big. Yeah, it's pretty short, but the movie's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like really, really interesting social commentary. Whereas I thought in the book it was all relatively obvious. But
Well, the movie they made back in 2000.
Oh God.
It was practically unwatchable. I mean, it just it
I
took
know.
That's
everything
a-
that was good.
But the costumes were really good
And
until that
made it
last
bad.
sequence when it was just like a. I don't get that. I guess they totally ran out of money.
I don't know. I mean,
I
it
don't
just
remember
didn't make
that
any
one.
sense. Like everything looked good
Until the very end.
until the very end. Yeah,
I never watched it.
oh,
I don't plan on it.
I think I
Yeah.
paid to see it. I saw it at the theater.
well,
But I think-
it
I mean,
gives the
most,
Hollywood ending to it. Well, no, it doesn't give the Hollywood ending. They had the ending though that didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Tim Burton
wait a
must have needed some
second.
cash or something.
It crossed like weird. I don't mind when a movie goes weird, but I don't want it to do it by surprise, and I don't want it to do it by jumping over logic. Just completely, because you can make things weird and stay within logical realms. That's when they become like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just make something weird for the sake of making it weird, that doesn't make any sense. So the whole ending where he shows up and there's what's his name up on the thing and his Lincoln statue. It just didn't make any sense
a
within
monkey.
the context of what went on. When it just it did. I don't know.
Yeah, because it started in the far future.
Yeah, and then he makes it to the past, and then there's the guy. It just didn't make
It's
any
an
sense.
alternate past.
I don't know.
no, I agree. It was stupid.
I went and saw it, and the person I went and saw it with, we were both talking about it, and we were like, what was that about? Didn't make any fucking sense.
But but the original movie is, that's one of those like super super distant futures after a devastating apocalypse to where there's so little left that when Taylor and Landon and Dodge arrive that they don't even recognize the world. I mean, it's like it's that far removed from from the pre-apocalyptic world that it's effectively like an entirely different world.
Yeah, there's not too many that are like immediately after the Holocaust, or not the Holocaust.
Yeah, that's what I was saying
apocalypse, the
earlier.
nuclear
It's like you have to
Holocaust.
wait out something. They all assume that you have to wait
Yeah.
out like the really bad
Yeah.
fallout or something.
There's only
like
a couple
that.
that I can think of that are directly after that, and that's the DEF CON whatever movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's some stuff that's like during or after. I thought it was on the beach, like right during or.
It's pretty much during. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
like
during.
they're the last people left alive after the nuclear war, and they're
Right.
just
Same way with.
And
they're
in
just all
Australia
waiting
or
to die.
something.
Yeah. They go to Australia.
The day after, or whatever, was that a?
That was during.
Yeah.
Was that an accident or was that an actual attack?
That was a war. Day after was
I
like
couldn't
a.
remember.
There was one that aired in the 80s. I think it was a European production, but it was like a 2 or 3 part sort of miniseries called Letters from a Dead Man.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
That I remember watching at the time and really liking. That it was kind of it was another one of those, like, after the nuclear war thing, and they were just sort of like trying to get by, and this guy was effectively like, the living dead because he'd been irradiated so much. It was just a matter of time, and he was kind of writing these letters to the family members he knew he'd never see again. But it came that same sort of era, I guess, with the day after, which I remember sucking.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was a big deal when
like
it
an
came out.
afternoon special.
Yeah,
It was
but
like,
the
oh my God,
the
this is what's
original
gonna- it's
the
like
original.
nobody-
I mean, I read On the Beach in high school, and the original movie, the one with Gregory Peck and Ava
Did they
Gardner.
make more than one version of that?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
newer.
there
I've
was a
only
newer
seen the
version,
original,
but they.
I mean, that's not bad, and they're effectively, that's. I mean, I guess it never even really reaches like a post-apocalyptic thing. They just sort of. They're all like, well, the fallout's headed our way, and
Not
They know
until the end.
they know they're gonna die.
Yeah.
They don't
Well-
really get a chance to live it up at all.
Yeah, I
except
mean, there's
for
like-
where there isn't any kind of destruction, which is.
And then the end of the
what
movie comes and they show like a desolate cityscape, and it's like,
Well, it's like the part of the movie where they actually go to San Diego and they find like the transmitter and the bottle. The bottle's like caught on the drawstring of the shade, and like it's tapping the making out Morse code and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of the modern version of the message in a bottle, but it's gibberish is all they were getting. They just thought maybe something's like still there because the power was on, but it was actually at a power plant in the movie where they went and like found it. It's a clever turn of what the message in the bottle would be considered. But yeah. I mean it's a good movie, definitely. And Fred Astaire, is in it, and I think he plays a Master Chief. Fred Astaire's a Master Chief. That would just be the weirdest thing. Because he like Fred Astaire giving you barking orders at you. You're like, you're so nice. I can't take it away.
well, I mean, he was like a captain in the Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah.
what?
Wasn't Fred Astaire in the? Oh, I'm thinking of not Fred Astaire.
Sinatra.
I'm thinking of Frank Sinatra.
Oh well, Frank Sinatra is different though.
Fred Astaire was in
It's like, what are you?
Holiday Manor or some Christmas movie.
Yeah.
No.
He's in Funny Face.
He's in Ghost Story.
That's right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like Ghost Story.
There are a few, like, aren't there, like, there's at least one of the stories in Martian Chronicles because there's like the nuclear apocalypse on the Earth.
Yeah, they had
and
the
then
one in where he's making the phone calls, where he's trying to call every number in the phone book to try to find if anybody's still left.
Wasn't there like it was like all the people are in Mars, and then they're like, oh, there's going to be a war on the Earth, and so a lot of people go back to the Earth, which is kind of dumb. Oh, there's going to be a war, let's go. But then
You don't want to miss out on a war.
but then the guy's watching the Earth through like an observatory or something, and he sees all the mushroom clouds. And then there's the story where the guy's
I
like
never read those.
playing phone tag with somebody on Mars, and they're like
Yeah.
the last people, and she's some big fat chick, and he sees her and he thinks she's nasty, and so he runs away from her. I'm serious.
I never read those, so I don't know.
Like, I ain't hanging out with no fat, like I'm a fattest.
Some of his friends might have survived.
Even after the apocalypse,
You're
no fatties.
You're the last girl on Earth, no fat chicks.
That's literally like the last girl on
Yep.
Mars, not on Earth.
I mean, if you got that bumper
I don't
sticker in
care.
your car, and you're gonna peel it off because you can't.
I don't care if it is after the apocalypse. There's still no fatties.
No fatties.
It's just not happening.
Wow, that's
I don't know,
saying
man.
something.
Any
Sooner or later, you're gonna be like, I don't know, maybe hey, maybe I could run her around for a while. She'd be cute if she didn't weigh 300 pounds. That's not fair.
Well, you figure that there's not going to be much to eat. So.
She would have a great personality.
Well, it's not how she eats. It's glandular.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's just bullshit. That's not even nice. That's not nice.
Oh no, I'm not familiar with that episode within the Martian.
No,
it's like the last story.
I know what he's talking about. Yeah, but God, how awful.
No.
You guys are terrible.
That's horrible.
Well, back on subject. I mean, what are some other like great apocalyptic
There's
scenarios?
always,
Plus,
stuff
not only to mention, I mean, like, what would you do? I would dress kick ass. We've already talked about the cod piece, but I would just like live it up.
I'd be wearing a tux the whole time.
Right? Just like look smooth.
Yeah, with some sort of odd headgear. Pith helmet, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'd go for a fez.
Pith helmet actually makes sense.
Yeah, but they just don't build
But
tuxes.
fez. I couldn't decide. I mean,
That's like white shoes and black tails. You just don't do it.
You can't go with like
So it was like one of those meteor hits the Earth movies, and the one scene that I just can think of is like this huge wave of water is coming down to like this major city, and people are running from it. And why don't you be like standing in the middle of the road, like you can't run from it. You stand there with a bottle of whiskey and a pistol, firing it up in the air, going woo,
and just waiting,
and just
hold your breath.
Yeah.
right.
Ride it out. Just grab your longboard and run towards it.
Dude, just surf it. Hang 10 on that fucker.
That's another thing. I mean, if
that,
the moon gets cracked in half, what kind of tidal waves are going to be there?
Yeah, that's
like
going
in
to fuck stuff
Thundar.
up.
Because the moon's all busted.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
like-
if you're on the coast, then you have to worry about it. But
Thundar's all over the place, man. One day he's in Vegas, the next day he's in New York.
This is the one in DC.
And then there's
And they went to
they're in
Mexico.
DC, and then they're in Mexico
And then
City,
they were like in the Badlands.
Right.
And then they went to D.C.
trucking.
and they're all riding horses doing that kind of crazy
And they just
shit.
ride constantly.
That's
I think-
just insane.
I think the obviously the apocalypse, whatever brings it about, the apocalypse is going to be unquestionably the most dramatic thing you've ever experienced in your life.
Sure, unless you've had just a rough childhood, really, really rough.
So if you happen to be one of the people that make it through it, obviously it's not going to be, it's not going to go on, indefinitely. I mean, there's going to be the event, whatever it is, that destroys civilization and changes the world forever or whatever.
Well, assuming you survive,
but if you make
can
it,
survive.
if you make it through that, and then you're into this post-apocalyptic world, I mean, it's going to be an entirely new and perhaps even more difficult, set of challenges. Like I said, it's because everything. It's for a long time. I think everything would be day to day. I mean, you just make it through today.
Yeah.
It's like food, water, shelter, don't get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Every single friggin' day,
Sure.
And whether, you can't go outside because there's radiation or there's, the plague out there.
Well, let's say you're lucky enough to have a bunker that's supplied.
Or something.
But
or
you need to still make daily sorties out into the
search for
shit.
toilet paper.
Right? Because you do. You need that sort of stuff. I mean,
there's going to be stuff. And
because we're not lucky enough in the U.S. here to have bidets, so... Which is a great machine, by the way. It's like the
just strangely, because in every other way,
As long as the water's pure.
in every other way, we're
right. If you get irradiated water shooting up your
Glowing
ass,
asshole.
that could become a different problem altogether.
as
Be able to
with
see
the
going on.
the bidet aside, really in every other way, we're actually far more hygienic than most of the rest of.
That's probably true. I don't know that bidets equal hygiene, but
Well, I mean, there's two types of toilets in Japan. There's like the
Well, I'm not talking about
crazy
Japan.
toilet,
Japan is its own thing, but I was
and then there's the whole
in regards to
whole-
Europe, where in portions of Europe they do have bidets, and the bidet thing aside, we're actually far more hygienic than them. But for some reason, we have issues with the little special toilet to wash your bunghole.
the water fountain. What's this
You
water
know,
fountain?
it's a. But I think if you survive the apocalypse, rectal hygiene will be the least of your concerns.
Oh, man, I disagree entirely, man. You go on a forced march and you got like any kind of crazy crap going on, you will hate it the whole way because that shit's wrong. No, you got to clean
Is this like
your
from experience?
ass. I used to have to do that kind of stuff. You would go
With
on
a dirty
hikes.
ass?
No, just like because
I think I'll be far more concerned about not
Were you ever
dying.
at camp? You know, camp, like, fucking toilet paper sucks. I mean, it's John Wayne toilet paper. It's rough, tough, doesn't take any shit. And it doesn't work well. So when you have to go on hikes, man, you know, that stuff's wrong. And then, you know, you're like, it makes the whole trip awful. So, yeah, I've been there. I know what that feels like. It's wrong.
I never took a shit while I was in camp.
You just held it in the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
For a week?
For a week.
Wow.
I didn't take a shower either.
Well, I never took a shower at camp like that.
That's what the swimming pool was for.
Right. I mean, we had a lake. I didn't need that.
Post-apocalyptic ass funk.
Which could be worse than you
Well,
would
I
ever
mean, he's
imagine
right, though.
if
It
you
probably
get the
would
wrong kind of
suck. I
toilet
mean,
paper.
it
Especially
probably
if you had a
would
bad
suck,
case
but-
of the hymns.
That's what
That's
I'm saying.
why-
I'm not.
I mean,
I'm not
that's why you
saying
just
it's. I'm not
use
saying it's
baby wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to go hunt them down if you got to kill a man for
not
some
if you have a
baby wipes.
bunker.
Oh, you kill a
If
man for some
bunker,
tile.
You got
all
a
that
bunker, but you don't have enough baby wipes, and then you're up at the store like with a, you know, with your rifle, and you got 3 mutants you got to kill to go get some new baby wipes.
Well,
I
you
mean,
do
that
what you
makes
gotta
the
do.
whole day a little different than it used to be. Didn't
Makes it
it?
more
That's why you
exciting.
plan ahead, motherfucker.
Well, planning ahead's one thing, but like going to the grocery store and cleaning out the entire shelf of baby wipes is another. They're going to be like, problems?
Trust me. Like I said, I think I'm going to be far more concerned about just not dying
Yeah.
each and every day, rather than the condition
but
than the
let's say
condition
you-
of my ass crack.
Well, if you got some downtime, man, and your ass is hurting, you're going to be like,
I don't think you're going to have a
"God."
whole hell of a lot of fucking downtime to stop and think about
I'm just
stuff.
saying, man.
There's
Like I
plenty of
said,
sobs and
Food, water,
Vaseline.
shelter, don't get killed
Right.
every single friggin' day. And you can maybe do without food for a day or two. Can maybe do without water.
Well, you're going to have to maybe purify
Obviously.
water, too.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like you're just gonna be able to pick it up anywhere. That's what I mean. It's gonna be hard to find. You don't want to. If you're all by yourself, everything's gonna be even worse. Because then what the fuck do you do? You can't just like sleep somewhere.
Right.
You got to find someplace secure where you can barricade yourself in to sleep.
Well, that, and you're going to have to, like, you know, hunt down shit all the time for, like, all your
So,
equipment. Like, where are you
I
going
don't
to
think
find
you're gonna be-
batteries for your sun sword?
So I don't think you're gonna be too concerned about.
I mean, eventually you're going to be like, man, I got to get more D cells for my sun sword.
So yeah, I mean, if you're fully in the post-apocalyptic
Well, that's the thing. I
wasteland,
mean, like, in Thundar, you had, like, Ariel doing all the work. You know, like, hey, we need to get across that chasm. She'd make a bridge, you know, and then she'd heal you. So she's taking care of your roids. You know, like, I guarantee it, dude. You know, like, Thundar butt hurt. Like, you
Truly,
know, like,
truly,
Ariel's taking care of
they
the
were
man.
riding bareback really hard. through
Yeah,
every
and
episode.
he's like jumping from 3rd-story windows onto his horse,
True.
which is gnarly, and so was she. And I was like, man, that girl's probably got some thighs that would crush a man of anything less than Thundar's sort of ilk.
maybe she just hit Oogla.
Dude, I don't know. Ariel knew what the fuck was going on.
She's
She always
hot.
knew what was what, too. She was like, oh, that's from blah, blah, blah.
she,
You know,
she
so-
was. She wasn't a barbarian.
Yeah, but she rode a horse bareback from Mexico City to New York. I mean, that's...
She was educated.
Probably made her
That's-
happy.
Dude, I made her something. I mean, 'cause
multiple times, but
I'm telling you, man, that's got she would have to have like ridiculously rock hard thighs after that ride, and then she did it all the time. You know, they went from one end of the country to the other. They
Or a
always went
calloused
someplace
cooch.
else.
Got like big calluses on her shit.
I don't think so, man. She was looking way too hot.
Well, you never
Well, she could
saw
heal-
her.
She could
They-
heal herself too, man. You know,
Oh,
so
well.
you know she healed everybody. There wasn't no funk going on. You ever notice they never ate in Thundar, like ever? They never had. To
they never
eat.
did anything but ride and fight.
Right.
It's like all they do because the whole thing's compressed into 22
What cartoon
minutes.
other than Scooby-Doo shows people eating?
Well, yeah, they're always hungry. But there were no Thundar snacks.
Mock,
Oogla smack.
Mock-
Ookla snacks.
mock snacks.
I like the Kingdom of the Mox, though. That was cool. They had the big giant pile of gold. For what? I have no idea. But, like, yeah, they were like, they had a mountain made of gold. And everybody wanted it. You know, I don't really understand for what. Because after the fall of the world, that kind of stuff's going to mean shit. I mean, it'll have.
No, see, they didn't find out. They didn't find out it was gold till the very end. It was just treasure. It was something.
Well, it was
valuable.
treasure, but you know.
But it was something valuable. People are greedy. Even after the apocalypse, people will still be greedy. It won't change.
Whereas they might be greedy for like things that they need. I just don't think that like the same things will mean as much. Like, because when you break it all down, like gold, silver, diamonds. Things like that, shiny shit chicks dig. That's the only reason it's worth anything at all. I mean, because if you got it, chicks want it, you can get the chicks. So it pretty much the entire economy is based on shiny shit that chicks dig.
Yeah.
And after the apocalypse, if you're running, hand to mouth, that stuff's not going to mean anything.
Unless you have a chick with you.
You get, baby, I got food. That's all you got to say. I found a chicken. That's so that stuff starts to become a lot less,
Well, yeah, that's more like
when did
like
gold
Quest
become
for Fire
a standard of currency?
Oh,
Was
way
it-
back.
I know. I mean, but was it when
It wasn't before civilization got kicking, though.
was it when we were still like hunter gatherers, or was it
Well,
the first like cities or
You couldn't.
agricultural?
Well,
things?
No, I think the first cities in the birth of civilization, things were still. It was still pretty much straightforward trade.
yeah,
food trade
Yeah.
food. Okay.
yeah. I mean,
or skills.
So it
Yeah,
probably wasn't
you-
until like
you-
the first big civilizations like
yeah.
Egypt
It wasn't
and
until
Sumeria.
like you could like support people who didn't all day long just hunt for food.
Yeah. So it was like the first civilizations, and they needed
pretty much,
something
yeah.
to symbolize like
Something to exchange when not a direct barter thing.
Yeah, so
like if you give me this, I'll fix your house.
Like
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like whereas an exchange of goods and services, it was
Yeah.
something representative.
This
for
represents enough grain or
Yeah.
rice or whatever to feed a person, like a
Yeah.
koku.
Yeah,
So it was with the first like city states.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I would.
So basically,
have
once
to-
once everything's gone down the toilet, anything that's not immediately useful, I think, is pretty much going to be worthless.
Well, like metallurgy took place,
So-
a long time ago too, with like things that they found, like meteorites and stuff. Like solid iron meteorites. Things they didn't have to like dig in the earth to get. And then they would have, if you're using a rock to try to, smash stuff, and then you find one that's made of iron and it's doing a hell of a job. It's not like a big step to make that into something that you can use, like a shaped weapon and a shaped tool.
So what kind of skills are going to be valuable?
I would think the same skills that are valuable in a
metal,
agrarian lifestyle. One that
Blacksmith,
yeah, the very simple ones where you're able
Farmer.
to make weapons and you're able to
Botanist.
maintain things, especially people who are able to maintain what technology can survive a post-apocalyptic scenario.
Media services
grease
technicians,
monkeys.
yeah.
phone, the telephone.
Telephone cleaning.
Yeah, those people from
the people that
Hitchhiker's
clean
Guide.
telephones, and then the people who
sure.
what are the other ones?
Hairstylists.
Hairstylists,
But see, that civilization died out because they all got nasty ear infection.
right? From not having clean
Yep.
phones,
Not having phone sterilizers.
phone
Telephone sterilizers.
telephone sterilizers.
Is that in the second or third book?
That's in the third.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there, though.
Yeah.
That's not really a post-apocalyptic. That's
It sort of was when they crashed on that planet.
It's pre-civilization, though. It was
Yeah.
before mankind. Remember, they were teaching the dudes all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
But like I said, if you're looking at day by day survival, then things are going to be stripped down to the barest essentials. And
It'll be
So
downright
get
like
skills.
Bronze Age.
Yeah, I mean, it'll
do
yeah,
like
it'll-
the
it'll be the basic stuff. It'll be like, can you
call
you,
the telecourse people on TV and get your gunsmithing permit.
Yeah.
Get your blacksmithing
But,
like
yeah, I mean, that's-
You
degree.
get blacksmithing on TV. And
Yeah, I mean, that's-
correspondence scores blacksmithing.
Like I said, like in A Boy and His Dog, like there's
I mean, seriously.
he
You're
visits
gonna have a
he
shitload of
visits
stuff.
in A Boy and His Dog, he visits the guys that reload ammo.
Yeah.
That's how they survive. And everybody saves up their brass, and they go and see him, and they give him a bunch of brass, and like you trade it in, kind of a 2-for-1. Like for every 2 rounds of brass you give them, they give you 1 round of loaded ammo.
Yeah.
They did that like in Twilight 2000.
Yeah.
I think it was like 10-1.
But that's how the
Well, I think it was more like 10-1.
You know, that's kind of how these guys work. Like that's their deal. Like
You
and
brought
then
them brass, they give you real bullets. So.
Yeah,
And that was its own currency. There wasn't any need for anything else.
Yeah.
And then you could, barter.
So I mean, if you've got those skills, or if you can, like, I think basic carpentry would be useful.
Any kind of like skill.
You know, I mean, obviously, I don't think a whole lot of like plumbing and electrical work is going to matter, but
Plumbing maybe, but only if you could make something work that worked before, and you had like a power supply, like a diesel engine, and you could get fuel for it.
I think
you could have running water without a pump. Also, you didn't need like a water wheel or a like
a lot of that
a mule tied to
a water wheel.
A lot of that really, like really basic,
I don't know. I mean,
really basic.
Well, come on, yeah, they had. I mean, there was aqueducts before there were plumbers.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really
Using gravity to move water.
Really basic.
Yeah, but they moved it over long distances by setting up giant.
Yeah, but they weren't
really,
plumbers.
I think really basic
They
sort
didn't
of
charge by the
civil
hour.
engineering skills like that would be hugely useful. And if you can actually, I think that would be of great usefulness.
Yeah, and just knowing like how to use like basic farm equipment. That's if you can find it. Now, I remember when Connections was on, and like James Burke was saying, okay, let's say something happens, and you have the presence of mind to go to a farm, and by some chance there's nobody living at that farm, and by some chance, even above and beyond that, they have an old-time plow that can be driven with a horse.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to use it? Do you know how to use it? Do you know when the planting season is? Do you know how to, sow? Do you know how to do any of that stuff? It's like most people don't. And the chances are any of those kind of places are going to be like, if they're populated at all, people are going to be there and they're going to shoot your ass.
That's when you get like other people to do it. I mean, if you're not going to need a
his
plow
point
for your own
was
personal
there's
farm,
very few of those pieces of equipment around that actually can do that sort of work.
Just don't look for them in a farm. You look for them in an antique store or
right.
a Cracker Barrel.
I mean, you're going to have to. Yeah. So the plan is to go to the. Man, that's a great idea. So yeah,
you get a sweatshirt.
You're right. You got all the clothes
and
you
need.
Get
like a rifle that doesn't work, and a plow.
And you can get a
like,
plow. You can grab all that farm
gear for a horse you don't
have.
And,
you're
some
gonna have
country ham that might be stuck in the back.
That's why you get a mutant. Mutant, man. Just big old weird mutant.
Just think of how many those 2-man saws. Those places by law, I think, have to have like at least one 2-man saw nailed to the wall.
Right. And you get those metal feed signs and make it like a shield.
Yep.
Or an airplane.
So your first place to
Or an
go,
airplane.
Glider.
So the first place to go after
Yeah.
the apocalypse is Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, because that's where all that equipment is that doesn't need no electricity.
And the old
or
standby is always
gas.
Walmart. So
Plus, you can get some biscuits. While
Dick's
you're
Sporting
there.
Goods.
yep.
And you get the country home.
Then you get
maple
armor.
syrup.
I think your lacrosse outfit.
When you need a little energy boost, take a
a
shot of
catcher's
that.
vest.
Okay.
Catcher's
Baseball
vest,
bats?
man. Yeah, because
Aluminum
that's a
bats?
hell of a suit of armor. Well, there's all kinds of stuff that you can make into armor, but if you can find like the sports equipment, that's
Yeah, you
really
get the shoulder pads.
gotta have shoulder pads, because then you got to take like knobby tires off a motorcycle.
Well, I mean,
and put
how
'em
else
up
are you
and
going to wear a
make it
strap-on
shoulder.
mohawk unless you have shoulder pads?
Right.
I mean, if you're going to strap on a mohawk, you better
Well,
have
hockey
shoulder
mask.
It's time to pull out the bondage gear once the shit storm happens.
Yes, we all go bondage. Tony.
Right. Started out with cod pieces.
The world is over. I'm
That's-
going
yeah.
fetish.
Oh, big time. Well, we have an email. We actually have another international email. I feel compelled to read it.
From where? From where?
It's from Australia.
Australia.
From the
Australia?
land down under.
Down under?
Where they live upside down.
The land of Oz.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Never mind.
Let's see if they can send us some Broken Hill lager, because we can't find that around here
And
anymore.
we need Inabiscuits other than chicken.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Okay.
They have the
well,
bacon in a biscuit.
Bacon and a biscuit.
Now we
I want
promised
to try the
Here in the
Vegemite
States, we
biscuit.
only get chicken
we
in
would
a
go
biscuit, and
into
we
the
need more
different
Inabiscuits.
Inabiscuits. So, like, go ahead and tell us like the whole list of Inabiscuits.
The only ones I can remember are, of course, they had chicken, but they had bacon. They had Vegemite.
which they can
don't
keep.
want that.
We talked about that.
I don't know. I'd like to try them.
Vegemite?
Yeah,
Have you ever
I'd
had
give it a go.
Vegemite?
No.
Yeah,
But it's
you want it
Vegemite.
now.
It's Vegemite in a biscuit.
It's
You
not
want it- you
Vegemite.
want
It's
it
Vegemite
now.
in a
Yeah, and they had like a couple of other ones, but
Otter,
no.
Otter in a
I think it was
biscuit?
monocream in a biscuit.
platypus in a biscuit, wallaby in a biscuit,
I want platypus.
numbat in a biscuit,
Yeah.
billabong in a biscuit. No, it's not billabong. What are those fish called?
Sharks.
Billabong is, I think, a creek. That's the word for a creek.
Yeah.
No, those big freshwater fish they have down there. I drew a blank. Billabong is, I think, creek, right? Yeah.
I think so. But they had like 5 different like in a biscuit
Barramundi.
along that line.
That's what I'm thinking of, Barramundi.
I actually emailed the one of the Nabisco
Barramundi.
persons and got a response, and they were like, "Well, we can't do anything about it."
Was it Captain
I
Nabisco?
think so.
Captain Nabisco sent you an email?
Yeah, somebody from their marketing division sent me an email saying, "Well, we can't do anything to like increase the in a biscuit line in America."
Oh, that's weak.
We are powerless.
Yeah, he copied me that. It was hilarious.
I think I still have it. It's on my
Well, maybe we can get him to send us some.
in the biscuits.
Wombat in a biscuit?
Man.
The bacon is the essential.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We don't have enough bacon flavored treats in snacks in America.
No, we got crappy ass bacons that aren't
in
even
the
real bacon.
in the goddamn homeland of bacon.
Yeah.
This country has taken bacon to levels the world has
Well,
never
there's more
known.
bacon treats for dogs in this country than there
I
are
know.
for people.
Yeah, damn right. But they're not
Bastards.
made of real
Sad.
bacon either. They're all fake bacon. We have too much fake bacon. My roommate makes that tempeh bacon. That's some nasty stuff, man.
Synthetic bacon.
It's synthetic.
So read the
bacon.
email from Australia.
Yes. It's
From the land
Tim.
down under.
Tim says, "Greetings, gentlemen. Just writing to let you know how much I've been enjoying your podcast. I've been catching up on the whole set since stumbling across them a month ago. They are now the indispensable commentary I play on my MP3 player while in the shed making preparations for the apocalypse."
Who?
Right on, Tim. But it gets better. It's like the kids have gotten into it as well, waiting eagerly for the next episode, which we usually play in the car while commuting.
It's a family show.
This is quite a family show. I don't know what kind of family, but it's
yeah.
I'll
great.
try to bleep out the language, but they probably don't care about that. in
Yeah, it
Australia.
takes me forever to bleep anything out. We bleeped out the name. Remember when we said your name of the zombie show?
Yeah.
It took me forever to get the beep right, and I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Okay. Well, anyway.
So
Continue.
I don't bleep anything. I'm not going to bleep that
Well,
either.
Tim, we won't be responsible for what happens to your children.
Now, if we're warping your kids, we're down with it. But if you're not, please don't sue us. But you seem to be
can't.
cool with it, so we're cool with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I wonder if you will do a show on plagues, germ warfare, and the like. Anything from Andromeda Strain to The Stand. It's kind of topical at the moment with health authorities shitting themselves about
Bird
the
flu.
avian flu.
Yep.
Yes.
What about mad cows getting bird flu?
Oh my God.
So
That
Dave
could-
Barry brought that up in his the year of 2005.
Maybe bird flu will cure mad cow disease.
I doubt it. It's just going to become something horrible. Like it's going to be like
Mad bird disease?
mad bird disease
Mad bird cow flu?
or cow flu.
Holy shit.
He's got mad bird cow flu.
Oh my God.
What if it creates
You shouldn't
bird-
even say things
What if
like
it creates
that, man.
bird-
The CDC's not even going to be able to handle that kind
What if
of
it
stuff.
creates bird cows?
Flying cows
Well, you know
with
what?
avian flu?
Giant chickens.
Giant chicken?
reminds
Chicken
me
with
of, like,
udders.
What's that crappy movie, Young Guns? When
Giant-
he's like on
giant-
the peyote and sees a giant chicken, he's running around with a shotgun. Anyway, go ahead.
I was in Mexico once. I saw a chicken fly. I didn't think they could fly. God is my witness. I did not know that turkeys could fly.
He's gonna fly.
No. We were in Mexico, man, and my buddy's like we're sitting on this bench right down into the street, and he sees this chicken. He goes up, he's trying to grab it, and it flew into a tree. And I was terrified by it. I was like, it flew. He's like, oh my God. And somebody said, well, man, they don't clip their wings. And I'm like, oh, they
Plus,
clip their
they're
wings?
not
That's what keeps
chock
them
full
from
of
flying?
steroids to have like a 20-pound breast.
It didn't look it didn't look like a
Unstunted,
regular
really.
chicken, but like it flew.
Those birds can sort of. They don't fly. They just kind of.
It jumped into a 20-foot high
They
branch.
can flutter.
Turkeys are too big to do that, but all those chickens,
It's like the $6
especially
million chicken.
The ones in South Asia, like the original chickens, they can sort of do that.
Yeah.
The OCs.
Okay. Sure, they put out reassuring plans, and they have bought a few boxes of Tamiflu, but really, they know if bird flu gets off the leash, it's every man for himself. You're right about that, man. I think you would share my disappointment that so far no poster or pamphlet from a health authority recommends fitting yourself out with a stripped-down, four-wheel drive vehicle with a mounted flamethrower to get away from the shambling hordes of the infected. I like how this guy thinks.
Right
man.
on, Tim.
That is awesome. Yeah. Oh, what a great pair of glasses. Sorry, we're watching James Bond. Man, that's great.
Jack Lord.
Jack Lord's got a great pair of glasses. It's
The fuck?
Dr. No.
Dr. No and
Jack Lord.
Felix
is
Leiter.
The original Felix, yeah.
Played by Jack Lord, and he walks up with this great pair of glasses.
Stripped down 4-wheel drive and a flamethrower.
So, yeah,
a
Tim's
stripped down
awesome.
4-wheel drive.
Tim's got his,
and yes,
He's got his shit straight.
he says keep up the good work.
It's all good.
So,
Who?
It's the Lord's work, really.
We've discussed the
Opus
plague
Dei.
episode. Yes. We've discussed the plague episode.
yeah, we're actually going to do that in the future. That is something we're working on.
Yeah.
That seriously requires research, though.
Yeah, we do need to know a little bit about diseases.
More than just watching movies.
Other than
What?
Everything I've ever talked about on this show has been based on my exposure to popular media.
That's right.
I don't get anything from books. It's for nerds. It's all movies and cartoons.
They're written on paper, man. Paper is
I wonder if they have Thundar the Barbarian in Australia, because we might have to send him a copy
last
of that.
5 centuries ago. It's so
Well, to quote Egon, print is dead.
print is dead.
Let us know if you don't have Thundar the Barbarian in Australia.
Yeah, if you've never heard of Thundar the Barbarian in Australia, we'll
Great
have to do something
American
about that.
cartoon from the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
You get one of those region-free DVD players.
and there's a few people that I think we should shout out to. Namely, Chris Hernandez, our friend Chris. His birthday is on the 3rd, and I want to wish him a happy birthday.
3rd of
even
what?
though- The 3rd of January.
Holy shit.
We're not even going to be here. Because, 2006 is coming.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in the car.
Yeah, and the computer's gonna go crazy and launch all the Tsar's missiles.
Yeah. It's going to think it's 1906, and damn, they're going to go, Russia's attacking the Tsar and his missiles.
His ilk.
Yeah. So
long.
we're dead meat. There's not going to be anybody left. So, but happy birthday anyways, and if you survive, just so you know.
This makes a great
Happy
paperweight.
birthday with Alex. You see, his brother Alex. I promised I would give a shout out.
Leave it
to
on my
Alex,
desk at work.
because Chris and Alex are working on a podcast together once they get out of school and don't have to do so much school stuff. And we're supporting them. And as soon as they get it up and running, we're hoping we can make a network of things, kind of like UHF.
Awesome.
But yeah, those guys are great. So Chris and Alex, right on. And again, thanks to Bill Kennedy from Doomerama.com. He has a great book list that you can go to and get a lot of information on what we talk about here. He was the guy that sent us the Thundar the Barbarian DVD, so we got to sit down and watch him, refresh our memory, and laugh our asses off, especially like we were talking about the werewolves fighting the robots inside the volcano. Where can you get that kind of action but from Thundar the Barbarian?
They just don't make them like that.
It doesn't work anywhere else. No. It's not even a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. It's made by a third-party company.
Yep.
Which gives hope.
It
to all
was
the
indie.
independent cartoon makers.
It was an indie cartoon.
That's right. But that brings us, I guess, to the end of our show tonight. So from James,
Ted. Insert sound of crickets here.
Yeah.
And Adam.
And me.
Oh, I thought you were the cricket noises.
No. It was just the pause. I was going to say insert cricket sound.
This has been Destructomundo signing off, and we're wishing everybody a
happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus, and
hopefully 2006 is the year the world ends.
Right, and so
get your cod.
Tomorrow night, everybody get out
and a fez,
because tonight's the 30th. So
yeah.
Tomorrow night, get out, destroy something. Every little bit counts. If you break one thing, and everybody breaks one thing, maybe the whole world will be broken by the morning, and we'll all have a pretty good 2006. Cause we'll be looking for the things that we didn't get a chance to break. So that's us signing off.